Now, these are invoices and contracts sent in to me from viewers and some of my clients. And after a little bit of research, I just found out that homeowners across the country have lost tens of millions last year on scams like these. Fake tiny homes, fake premium upgrades, and contractors disappearing overnight. This has even ballooned into the billions when you factor in catastrophes and natural disasters. Now, you think it won't happen to you. Well, these scams aren't just happening, they're exploding in 2025. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how these scammers operate, how to spot the red flags, and how to save yourself tens of thousands. Let's jump straight into number one, the tiny home scam, so convincing it fooled thousands of people.
It may look like a dream deal, but people are getting wiped out.
An off-grid tiny home for under $50,000, ready to ship? But last year alone, Americans lost tens, perhaps hundreds of millions, falling for scams just like this one. Here's how it happens and how to make sure it doesn't happen to you.
Tiny home builds like this one right behind me exploded in 2010. And the reason behind that was people were trying to downsize and reduce their living costs. By 2015, it had gone mainstream, lifestyle minimalism, off-grid dreams, HGTV shows, you name it. But when short-term rentals got hot, tiny homes took off. And they went from a personal lifestyle choice to a money-making fantasy. And that's when the scammers showed up.
Suddenly, you could buy a tiny house online from Costco, Amazon, and even Wayfair, and dozens of new builders popped up offering turnkey packages, renderings, and ROI calculators showing that you can make it on Airbnb.
Some of those builders were legit, although some questionable quality for the price point, but legit.
But others? They were either brand new with no proof of delivery, or worse, complete scams. Scammers started using real photos stolen from legitimate builders or even AI-generated images to create beautiful websites complete with fake charts, floor plans, and testimonials.
And once they collected enough deposits, gone, just like that.
Now, one of the biggest and most recent cases just a few months ago comes from a California startup called Multitasker. They pitched a dream, custom designed tiny homes, financed and built for you. But after collecting tens of millions in deposits and even helping customers secure personal loans, the company shut down. No homes, no refunds, just debt. Now, customers were left holding loans for $80, $100, $150, even $300,000 with nothing to show for it but blueprints and broken promises. Some estimates say the damage is as high as $48 million in total. So here's how you protect yourself. First, never pay in full upfront. Reputable builders work in milestones. Second, always tour a physical model, even if it's not yours. Third, ask for references from past clients and verify them. And then fourth, Google the owner of the company plus scam or complaints. You'd be shocked at what comes up. Because if it looks too good to be true, a $150,000 custom home for $45,000, it probably is. And this isn't just about tiny homes. Some builders are scamming you on your actual property with full permits and contracts. Let me show you how. Unlicensed contractor scams.
Now imagine paying $20,000 to have a kitchen put in, just like this one that we're working on right now, only to have your contractor disappear. This actually happens far more than you think, even to professional builders with decades of experience.
It's especially common in boom towns and fast-growing cities, places like Austin, Phoenix, and Nashville, where it feels like everyone is building at once. The problem is, all the legit contractors are already booked out, sometimes years in advance. So homeowners get desperate. They start hiring whoever they can find just to get the job done. And that's where this scam shows up. Here's how it works. A contractor gives you a quote, usually the lowest one, and they're incredibly responsive. They text you back right away, they sound confident, and they make it feel like you're getting a great deal. Then once you commit, they ask for a large deposit to buy materials or lock in the crew, and that's when things change. Suddenly, they're hard to reach. They ghost you and the job never starts. And even if they do show up once or twice, it's never completed, or the quality is so bad, it has to be redone anyways. Here are the red flags to look out for. 1, they offer you a discount if you pay in all cash. We'll talk more about this later. 2, they don't offer you a contract, or worse, they refuse to sign one. And then third, they don't have real verifiable references or reviews. Now, I've seen this firsthand, especially in Austin, Texas. And in most cases, these aren't huge companies. They're owner-operators who took on too much work and can't manage their clients or timelines. But sometimes, there's just flat-out scammers who never intend to do the work at all. Now, my network of builders and investors has had to take over multiple projects like this, so I know these exist. Here's how to protect yourself. First, always verify that they're licensed and bonded. Second, get a signed contract with clear terms for deposits, timelines, and change orders. Third, check verified online reviews and ask for real references. If they hesitate, that's your sign. Now, construction mistakes go way beyond just scams. Finding the right land is one thing, but managing contractors, picking the right design, budgeting for all the phases, that's a whole different beast. And that's exactly why Rob and I built a private community. It's full of investors, builders, and entrepreneurs, people who are in the weeds on their own projects and learning from each other in real time. Now, in the community, you'll get access to nearly 1,000 active members. Yep, me and Rob are in there too. Live events and our full video libraries, dozens of hours of stuff that we've never posted online. And here's the wild part. It's only $1 to check it out. If you don't like it, you're out $1 and you can cancel. If you love it, membership starts at just $83 a month, and you can even go month to month and cancel at any time. Now, you can join just for your project phase or stay long-term to level up your game. And honestly, I just love seeing people build something for themselves. Every time someone turns land or a property into a cash flowing project, it's not just inspiring, it makes the whole community better. I'll drop the $1 trial link in the description down below. Tag me when you hop in and tell me what you're working on. Let's build something wild together. But even when you do check credentials, this next scam is designed to look completely legit, and it might be the most expensive of them all. Scam number 3, lowball bids and hidden costs.
That cheapest bid that you just accepted, it could end up costing you double. Now this one's sneaky and surprisingly common, especially with newer homeowners or first-time renovators. And on paper, that makes sense, but in reality, that low bid could be a trap. Here's why.
Let's say that you want tile work done in your bathroom. You get 3 quotes, $12,000, $10,000, and then one for $9,000. Assuming the scope looks the same, most people pick the $9,000 bid. And on paper, that makes sense. But in reality, that low bid could be a trap. Here's why. Contractors spend hours putting together bids, and most of the time, they don't get the job. So what do some of them do to increase their chance of closing? They come in lower than the competition. But here's the catch. They don't plan to stick to that number. That's their intent the whole time. I see this constantly. The moment the contract is signed, the change orders start rolling in. Want to upgrade to a better grout? We should probably extend the tile further so it flows better in the next room. You know, this pattern really would elevate the space. Are these all wrong ideas? Not necessarily, but they weren't in the original quote, and now the price starts to balloon. Here's how it plays out. You're focused on finishing your project. You trust the contractor, and every time you approve a small upgrade, it feels minor. But those microtransactions, they add up fast. Suddenly your $9,000 project just became $15,000, sometimes even worse. Now, this isn't just theory. It's actually happened to me in the past. A long time ago, I had a flooring project that was supposed to cost $27,000. By the time it wrapped up, it was over $40,000. All because the contractor added in services that were never agreed upon, but needed to happen to finish the project. And I'll admit, I shouldn't have assumed that they were included, and I should have questioned it when I saw that his bid was several thousands lower than the other quotes. So how do you protect yourself from this? First, always get a detailed bid. Make sure it outlines exactly what is included. Don't make assumptions and don't be afraid to ask questions. Second, pre-negotiate how changes will be priced. Flat rate, time and materials, put it in writing. And then third, decide what you want ahead of time. Contractors know that mid-projects, emotions can sway your decisions, and a clever salesperson will use that to upsell you. When you're knee deep in drywall and you just want it done, you're vulnerable. And that's when they get you. Stay focused, get it in writing, and don't let a cheap quote become your most expensive mistake. But even if you lock in a good price and a signed contract, the next scam skips all of that entirely and leaves you with zero proof anything ever happened. It's one of the oldest tricks in the book, and people are still falling for it every single day. The cash only, no paper trail scam. Now, if your contractor insists on cash, no contract, and no receipt, you might as well be handing them free money with no way to get it back. This scam is one of the oldest in the book, and yet it's still happening every single day. You meet a contractor, they're friendly, professional enough, maybe they're recommended by a neighbor or a friend through a Facebook group, and then they quote you a decent price, maybe even a deal. Then comes the catch. If you pay in cash, I can knock off another 10 to 15%. No need for a contract, we'll just get started. Now, it's easier if we don't go through permits. It'll save time. And that's how it starts. You give them a deposit, maybe even pay in full, and then they ghost you. The work never starts, or what does get done is a mess, and now there's no paper trail to fight back. You can't dispute the payment, you can't prove what was agreed upon, and in some cases, they weren't even licensed to begin with. Simply do not pay in cash unless you truly know the person or you have done multiple projects with them. There are very few contractors I know that I would pay in cash. I can count them on one hand. And when I pay them in cash, it's never more than a few $100s. Here's how to protect yourself. Always pay through traceable methods. Check, ACH, credit card, anything with a record. Second, Get a signed contract, notice a pattern here, even for small jobs. A basic agreement is protection for both sides. Third, if they push for cash only, it's a red flag, not a discount. But even when the paperwork looks perfect, some builders are using buzzwords and fake eco claims to charge more for materials that actually do less. Let me show you. Scam number 5, the green-washed upgrade scam. They say it's sustainable, energy efficient, eco-friendly maybe, but what they don't tell you, it's also overpriced and often underperforming because green sells. And builders know that. More and more, I'm seeing contractors mark up materials or upgrades just because they slap the word green or eco on the label. Bamboo flooring that's cheap and warps in humidity, recycled insulation that doesn't really quite meet local energy standards, sustainable wood finishes that chip after one season outdoors. And the worst part, some of these products aren't even certified. It's just marketing language and you're footing the bill for it. Here's what's happening behind the scenes. First, contractors get incentives from certain product manufacturers to push specific SKUs. Those products are not always the best for your project, climate, or long-term durability. Third, the markup can be 30 to 50% higher than standard materials with no real added value. This is how to protect yourself. First, ask for the project specs and certifications. If it's truly eco-friendly, there should be a long line of proof. Second, cross-reference the product online. Look up reviews from real homeowners and builders. Third, don't be afraid to just say no. Just because it sounds sustainable or premium doesn't mean it's the right fit for you or your project. Let's be honest, most of us don't grow up learning how to deal with contractors, permits, bids, and material specs. We just want our homes to look great and not go bankrupt in the process. But now you know how the game is played. You've seen how a too good to be true tiny home offer, an unlicensed contractor with a smile and a handshake, or even a simple tile bid that feels like a win can end up draining your bank account and your wallet if you're not careful. Now, you've made it this far in the video, you're already way ahead of most homeowners because now you know how to spot hidden scams, subtle red flags, and the sneaky psychology behind inflated construction costs. The key thing to keep in mind here is scammers rely on people being too busy, too trusting, or too emotionally involved to catch the small stuff. But you've got your eyes wide open now. This video might have just saved you 10,000, 20,000, or even more. And if you happen to run into one of these scams or almost did, drop it in the comment section. Someone else might learn from your story. And if you found this helpful, give it a like or send it to someone who's about to hire a contractor. Let's stop normalizing bad builds. In my next video, I'm breaking down the 7 things I'd never do if I were building a vacation rental in 2025. These are designs and build traps I see every week in my line of work, and fixing them costs way more than just avoiding them. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.